And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what needs to happen before you can make money with a CDL. So this video will be for the individual that is, let's just say the individual that is like outside of the industry, but looking to get in the industry, right? And standing on the outside, looking in, probably at another job that, you're maybe dissatisfied with, and you're like, okay, maybe trucking is a viable option for me. Maybe I can start making some money in trucking, but I know it's gonna probably be, a bunch of stuff that I gotta do, or a bunch of stuff that I gotta learn, or a bunch of stuff that I need to understand and know before I can really make money in trucking. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to talk to you about. Of course, you know that before you can start making money with the CDL as a truck driver, obviously you got to get your CDL. So talk briefly about that, but I'm gonna kind of give you like a bird's eye view, like a bird's eye perspective, as far as my opinion on that answer. Now, when I got started in trucking, I knew someone in the trucking business, and I got started working with my dad right away, right after I got my CDL. But most people, right after you get your CDL, are probably not going to fall into that category. And so, again, I'm going to give you like a bird's eye view of, I guess you could say, some of maybe the BS that, what, like essentially, like I said, that's the best way I can put it. What has to happen? What you got to do before you can start making money in trucking? A lot of people think that, I guess the popular perception is that you can just get a CDL, hop in a truck, and everything is going to be rosy. And a lot of people find out that that is not the case. A lot of people start off trying to get their CDL, excited about the process, and somewhere in between the beginning of the process and getting to the point that they feel like the payoff has happened, they lose their enthusiasm, okay? And you hear people saying, man, getting my CDL was a bad decision, or becoming a truck driver. I got my CDL and I became a truck driver, and I believe that was a bad decision. So again, I'm gonna talk to you about what I believe are some things that you need to be thinking about, so that you can have the proper perspective, so you can have your expectations in order when you come into the trucking industry. Again, everybody doesn't necessarily just come in and start making money. So with that being said, I got 5 things that I'm gonna drop on you, just a quick overview, okay? The first thing is, obviously, you know that you need to get your CDL, okay? People ask me sometimes on my video, on my videos, do I think that going to CDL school is worth it? Because I've put out videos in the past, kind of let you know what you should expect when you go to a CDL school, a paid CDL school, not a company-sponsored CDL school. So just to clear up any confusion on that, I totally believe that CDL school is worth the investment. Yes, I do believe that it's worth it going to CDL school. For most, getting a CDL and getting to the point where you want to get to is going to change the trajectory of your life, potentially. And so, CDL school is $4, $5, $6 grand. So, if that happens for you, if getting your CDL ultimately helps you achieve the goals that you want to get to, you want to achieve, when you get to that point and you look back, the money that you spent on CDL school is it's like minuscule, okay? So yeah, it's definitely worth going to CDL school. Again, the thing that I would just want a person to know before you pay your money to go to CDL school, again, we're not talking about a company-sponsored CDL school, is, just because you go to CDL school does not ensure that you're going to finish on time as you expected with your CDL. If you want to ensure that that happens, that's going to be up to you, and I've talked about that in my previous video, so I won't get into that in this video. But obviously, you need to get your CDL. That's going to be the first step before you can start making money with your CDL, with the CDL as a truck driver. This is specifically as a truck driver. I'm not speaking to people that want to drive a bus or anything. I can't speak from that perspective, right? So the next thing is, after you get your CDL, which to me, which factually is more important than getting your CDL, is actually learning how to drive the truck. This is part of the process that you're going to have to go through that some people don't even factor into their equation on the road from not having a CDL to getting a CDL to making good money as a truck driver. Next step, I would say, is learning how to drive the truck. And I would call this phase like establishing your worth to the industry. In other words, experienced truck drivers that have good driving records, and I'll even go as far as to say that have a good track record of demonstrating or showing to a company, a potential employer, that they can take care of a truck and not tear stuff up. Those drivers are in demand. Okay? Those drivers are most certainly in demand. And so, as an inexperienced truck driver, you don't have any of that going for you. And so, to the industry, you have less worth. To the industry, you're less valuable than the experienced truck driver. So, when you just get your CDL and you're in the phase of actually learning how to drive the truck, learning, what you're doing behind the road or behind the wheel, getting comfortable in all of the different scenarios that you're going to experience, heavy traffic areas, construction areas, local driving, highway drive, everything that you're going to experience into docks, back into the tight spaces, all of that stuff. As you're getting comfortable with that, and as you're getting your miles, and as you're remaining as close as you can to incident free, because it's very likely as a new CDL driver that you're gonna have some incidences, but you want to stay as close as you can to incident free. That is what I call establishing your value to the industry. And this is something that you're gonna have to do. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to command good pay as a driver if you're not valuable to the industry. So while you're in that initial learning how to drive phase, chances are you're not gonna earn much money, or you're gonna be doing a bunch more work. You're gonna be doing most of the grunt work, one of the two, or a combination of both. You're either gonna be low paid, not paid what you feel like you should be because you're establishing your value, or you're gonna be working your butt off to establish your value because the companies that hire those type of drivers, that's what they do. They're gonna work the hell out of you. Okay, bottom line. And you got to be able to make it. You got to be able to make it through that. Okay, so you're building your value. You're establishing your value to the industry. You're getting your miles. You're not tearing up stuff. You're learning how to drive the truck. You're gaining confidence in all types of situations. Okay, so that brings me to the next thing. The third tip is landing the right gig specifically for you. Trucking is an extremely diverse industry, which means that there's a lot of different things that you can come in trucking and do. There's a lot of different things that you can do. There's variety in the industry. So much so that I've heard stories before of drivers starting off on the wrong kind of gig. The kind of gig that turns them off to continuing their trucking career altogether. And this is where you hear people say, actually make it past the phase of getting their CDL and getting to the phase where they actually got a job, but they don't like their job and they don't see a way out. And it's like, man, I'm sick of this altogether. So the next tip number 3, I would say, is the next thing you're gonna have to, the BS that you're gonna have to go through is landing the right gig for you. You may be fortunate enough to find the right gig for you right out the gate. You may have to start off at one place, get your feet wet, crawl before you walk, and build up to a different place. That may happen. Now, I've never driven for a big company. Ever since I've had my CDL, I've driven for my dad, which basically I'm on the owner-operator side of things, right? So, but it's still the same exact thing on the side that I am, even though I'm not working for a big company. This truck has been on different jobs, and certain jobs that this truck has been on made me want to stop driving the truck altogether. Bottom line, it's like, this is just too much. And other trucking jobs that I've had the truck on are not so bad. They're a lot more profitable and a lot less work involved. But that's part of That's part of learning, of getting to the point that you can make money in the industry. Getting the right gig, for you, and being in a position to take advantage of the right opportunity, the right gig for you, the right opportunity, whatever that may be when it presents itself. And the reason I say the right opportunity is because I've heard stories of people getting their Class A CDL, not having success finding a Class A CDL job, paying what they wanted to get paid, and then deciding to take a Class B CDL job and using their Class A CDL on that Class B job, and actually end up making more money than they expected to make with their Class A. So that's what I mean by taking advantage of the right opportunity for you, because again, trucking is extremely diverse, and that's a good thing. That's a good and a bad thing. That's a good and a bad thing. It means there's a lot of different niches and opportunities and things that you can do, but that also makes the industry a little bit confusing, and you can come in and have a little bit of a difficult time, figuring out which way is up. I've heard of company drivers going through that, and on the side, on the owner-operator side, I go through that same thing as well, working for my dad. So that's the third tip. The fourth tip is making it through the learning curve. So, essentially what I'm talking about, everything that I'm talking about right now, there is a learning curve. The job that you find, even when you find the ideal job for you, the right opportunity for you, it may not start off that way. You're probably going to have to do you're probably going to have to massage it in place. Okay? The pallet job that I was on, and all jobs aren't going to be this way, but I had to, for example, with that gig, the dispatcher I had to work with the dispatcher for a while before she knew how I liked to run. Because everybody don't like to run the same way on a gig like that. Some people like to run different ways, right? Some people like to run all night, some people don't. Some people prefer to go, east, some people prefer to go west. All that could factor in to the job that you get. It did on that job for me. And so there was a learning curve even in that job, even on the side of things that I am now. And again, there's a learning curve in every aspect of trucking. So from getting your CDL to learning how to drive the truck to learning how to pull around a reefer to learning how to pull different kinds of freight. No matter what part of trucking you're digging into, there's going to be a part that you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing right now. And you're going to have to learn the best way to make it work. And that's what I mean when I say you're going to have to make it through getting around the learning curve. And that's generally speaking, no matter what part of trucking you're dealing with, or no matter what you're going to do in life, generally speaking, right? So having enough in you, persistence to make it through the learning curve. Again, some people start off with high hopes of getting their CDL, and they never make it through the learning curve of actually getting their CDL. They give up before they get to it. And there's another group of people that actually make it through getting their CDL, make it through getting a job, get in a truck, and then they give up after that because it's like, this is not what I planned on it being, right? So they didn't make it through the learning curve. So you got to make it through the learning curve. And again, this whole video is simply about preparing you, right? So you can get your expectations in check. That is the main source of unhappiness, by the way, in life. The reality of what's going on not matching your expectation, right? So you got to make it through the learning curve, and lowering your expectations may help you with that some. So in summary, the fifth thing I think you need to be thinking about, and then I'm gonna let you guys go, is once you get to the point, once you've been through all of this other stuff that I'm running through right now, and once you get to the point that you've got your CDL, you have an understanding of where the money is in the industry, how to make money based on your own personal situation, you got the gig that you feel like you need to have, you're in the situation where now you have the opportunity to make some money. Now it's time to turn it on. Now it's time to turn it on, okay? And it sounds simple, but one of the things that I've done in previous businesses, and one of the things that I've seen people do in the trucking industry and in other industries, is once you get to the point that you have an opportunity to really make some money, you're so, I don't know whether it's so much mental exhaustion going on because you've been through so much BS, that at that point you want to take your foot off the gas, right? And you never really, now you've got the opportunity to make some money, but you're not maximizing it, right? In another business that I was in, my mentor used to share with us all the time. He would say, there's 2 times to work hard in business. One is when nothing is going right for you. When nothing is going right, when everything is failing. And the reason you want to work hard during that time is because you want to work yourself through that slump. And the other time to work hard in business and when you're working is when everything is going right. When everything you touch turns to gold, because then it's time to cash in on all the work that you had to put in when things wasn't going right. So there's 2 times to work hard. One is when things are not going right and you're trying to get things going, and the other time to work hard is when everything is going right. And that's the 5th tip. Once you get yourself in a position where you paid your dues, right, and now it's time to make some money, it ain't time to kick your feet up. It's not time to kick your feet up. It's not time to lay back. It's not time to be tired. It's not time to be exhausted. Now is the time to go at it like you've never gone at it before, because now is the time to totally cash in on all the dues that you paid and making it through all of the different stages that you made it through in going from not having a CDL to getting the CDL to getting the job to getting the opportunity that you want, and now you're trying to stack your bank account. Now it's time to turn it on. So that's pretty much it for this video. I wanted to give you the individual that's looking outside the industry and looking in and kind of, sees trucking as a viable option for them, but you kind of already know you're gonna have to work hard and you're probably gonna have to go through some BS to get from where you are down to where you want to be. This was just a bird's eye view of some of the things that I think you need to be considering. None of this stuff is meant to turn you off. It's just meant to prepare you for what you need to go through so you can be ready to see it through all the way to the end. If you like the content, be sure to go below and click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you don't want to miss any of my future helpful trucking videos. As I always like to say, stay close because I got a lot more good videos coming for you guys down the pipe. See you in the next video. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.